Hi, welcome to the Cullom-Davis Library at Bradley University. Today we'll be learning tips and tricks for basic searches in the testing database, Mental Measurements Yearbook, and Tests in Print. Mental Measurements Yearbook, or MMY, has full-text reviews and descriptions for testing instruments that are used in psychology, education, business, and leadership. Undergraduate students through professionals in the field might use MMY to learn more about a test, including what kinds of measurements it uses, what it attempts to measure, and to whom the test might be given. It also has a bibliography for all English language tests currently in print. Need to know more about a test that might be administered in counseling, education, or business? Let's get started. If you're accessing Mental Measurements Yearbook from off-campus, you may be asked to provide your BUNet ID and password before you can get into the database. If you're not sure what your BUNet ID and password are, check your admissions paperwork or call the service desk. When you start your search in Mental Measurements Yearbook, you'll see 3 search blanks. Into each blank, add one chunk of your topic. For example, if you're searching for a test that measures cognitive development in infants, use one blank for each part of your query. Use quotes around phrases, such as cognitive development, to search for them as a phrase, but you don't need them around single words, such as infant. The most basic search mode in Mental Measurements Yearbook is Select a Field. This is the default and is keyword searching. It's not the best for finding everything on a topic, but it's good for getting started. If you have a certain test you're trying to find, you can search MMY in other ways too, like test name, author of the test, population to be tested, and many more. But we'll start with Select a Field, which is keyword searching. Before we search though, there are some ways to limit our search. Find them by looking under Limit Your Results. Use the test category option if you're not sure of what tests might be available, but you know the testing area you're interested in for a given population. For example, if you're planning to test the development of infants, you can scroll down through the test category options to pull up those instruments that might apply. If your assignment restricts you to tests with information from a certain date range, like the last 10 years, you can enter it into the publication date spaces. Then your results should be within the time frame you need. We'll start with a beginning query on development and infants, limited by test category developmental. Once you've entered your terms and limits, click Search. For our development plus infants keyword search, we got 22 results when limiting by test category developmental. Now it's time to look at our results to discover which tests might measure various kinds of development in infants. Start by scrolling through your list of results. Next to the number, you can see the name of a test as well as the edition, author, publisher, and when it was published. Look for a test that seems like a good possibility for your interest and population. Read the name of the test first, then click on it in order to get more information about the test itself. Note the great info here, especially on the population age, the amount of time it takes to administer the test, how many subjects can be tested at once, and more. After you've read this information, if you're still interested in this testing instrument, you can access the review. Look at the icons to the left of the large bolded test name. If there is a review for you to read, you can click on HTML full text to access it. When you have the full text, you can read it now or save it for later. The best way to save it is to email it to yourself. You can do that by clicking on the envelope icon on the right-hand side of the open review. Once the email screen opens, put your own address in the email to blank. It's up to you if you fill out the subject or comments, but before you click send, look at the options at right. If you click on citation format and select your required format from the drop-down, such as APA, you can send yourself the citation for this review, as well as the review itself. Now that you've chosen the format you need for your works cited, click send. Congratulations! Now you've got a review in your email inbox that contains information about the test, including an assessment about its effectiveness for your desired population. And you also sent yourself the citation. When you're ready to explore more tests, click on Results List at top left to go back to your list of results. Continue to work through test names and reviews, or rebuild your search until you have a collection of the instruments you might need for your assignment. You should now have a basic understanding of how to search Mental Measurements Yearbook and Tests in Print. If you get stuck, no worries. Contact your Bradley University librarian via email, phone call, or visit. We'll get you unstuck. Thanks for using Mental Measurements Yearbook to do your research at Bradley University.